Well, thank you very much, Justin. I appreciate the intro and welcome everybody to Who Buys Final Expense Whole Life Insurance. My goal, as always, every month on these is to keep everything short and sweet because you're not making money if you're listening to this right now. Might give you some ideas to help you make it later on, but we want to get you back out there talking to folks. Reason I chose this topic to explore this month is every now and then I do get questions from people looking for final expense, and they're surprised to learn that we actually have carriers here at Financial Brokerage that offer it. That probably happens because these policies don't appear on the usual quoting engines that are available out on our website. But many people are out there still need a very basic burial policy, and if you're not offering it to your clients, someone else will. And if we don't make a big deal out of it here, we know that you'll go to someone else who is. So I want to make everybody aware of it. I'm going to cover three main things here this morning. One is what is a final expense policy. Two, the topic, who buys it, who's in your client files. It would be a great prospect for these policies. And then three, touch briefly on which of our 20 carriers here actually offer these types of policies. So starting with what is final expense, this reminds me a lot of mortgage insurance. Well, there really is no such thing as mortgage insurance. It's just term insurance that people buy to cover a mortgage. Same thing with final expense. It's whole life insurance that people purchase to cover their end-of-life expenses, the casket, the funeral, the cost of embalming, the grave site, and everything involved with that at the end of life, your final expenses. These are typically small face amount policies. So we see a lot of $10,000 face amounts, maybe 15 or 20. 10,000 doesn't always cut it right now. With the cremation, of course, it could be much less than that. But everybody needs at least that amount of coverage for the day when they finally do pass away. They're also characterized by minimal underwriting. The client does not have to worry about going through a paramed exam. It's very easy for you. It's usually one page of questions. You answer those. You're probably going to know right then and there whether the person will be accepted or not. Most carriers also conduct a phone interview with the client. But turnaround is very, very fast on these policies. You've probably seen underwriting time schedule of 1 week or less. And then you've got a policy ready to deliver to the client. So they all share those characteristics. And as far as who buys final expense, I've identified several different types of people. This is from phone calls that I've certainly received here, and it seems like everyone who's looking for this falls into one of these categories. There is actually a sixth category there, I would say, of children. But these are all people that are likely to be in your client files right now. So this is a great prospecting opportunity. You should ask yourself, who do you know who is unhealthy or who is on a fixed income? If you sell Medicare supplements, that's easy. Look through your client list there. Who's retired recently? Then there's always the classic people who who fail to plan. And going into a little more detail here, unhealthy clients, this is probably one of the biggest markets for final expense. They don't necessarily have to be uninsurable. A lot of times we get a person who, when you look at all the health problems, determine they're going to be a table 4, maybe a table 6. Well, they're still insurable, but you put that many tables on a fully underwritten plan and permanent coverage, you're looking $25,000, $50,000 as a minimum. Sometimes it's just priced way too high, and especially for everything they have to go to. I mean, you can imagine if a person's going to have a lot of table ratings, the carrier is going to be ordering APSs, and that takes a lot of time, especially if they order from multiple doctors. You may be looking at a 90-day process here to write a $50,000 policy. No guarantee the client's actually going to take it. So that being the case, you can probably save them some money, take care of their most basic needs with a final expense policy, and you've got something in their hands within a week or two here. Again, so the people with health problems, these look very, very attractive. In fact, with some of the graded and modified benefits that carriers have available too, you can have them in pretty poor health and they can receive a policy. They'll certainly pay for it. But generally, if they don't have Alzheimer's, they can do all their activities of daily living. They're not on oxygen. They don't have Parkinson's. They don't have AIDS. They can probably get some sort of a policy here. So this becomes a catch-all for a lot of people out there. The second group of people to look for in your client file is the seniors that are on a fixed income. And if you've done a good full fact finder with your clients and you know what they have for assets, you know where their income is coming from, you're going to know who's on a fixed income. And they really like to hear the words whole life, and that's what all these policies are based on. They're on a whole life chassis. The premiums are guaranteed never to change for the life of the policy, and for a person who just needs their basic final expenses covered, this gives them a lot of safety and security. So any seniors in your client files on a fixed income, maybe it's Social Security or what have you, those are perfect people to talk to. See if they've taken care of their final expenses. Chances are a lot of them out there have not done that. Moving on, I know some of you sell Medicare supplements. It's not a product line that we support here at Financial Brokerage, but I know it's a great door opener, and a lot of people have become experts in this area. And I know there's some rules with the federal government. You can't necessarily sell more than one product if you're on that same call, but I don't see any reason why a person couldn't call up those existing clients later on and offer to review their other insurance policies or their investments or looking into where they keep their safe money. So one advantage here, if you have the person as a Medicare supplement client, you already know something about their health from that application process and looking up all of their prescriptions. You know something about their budget. And it's an easy next step to take to open up that conversation about their final expense life insurance and seeing what they might qualify for. So don't overlook those people out there. That could really be a gold mine. Another group of people that's definitely worth taking a look at here are new retirees. And it's really interesting. I get quite a few calls on this, not just for final expense, but for fully underwritten policies as well. A lot of people go throughout their working years and don't realize that all the benefits they receive through their employer are gone once they no longer work there. The health insurance, they understand. They're at an age where they're going to get on to Medicare. But a lot of them think that they can keep the life insurance. Maybe they can't. Maybe they didn't understand how that worked, or a lot of times the price becomes just way too high, and there's no way that they can continue that. They're very motivated to act very quickly. They don't want their spouse to be without some sort of life insurance coverage. So again, you could go through the full underwriting process, but a final expense policy will be issued very, very quickly, again within a week or two likely. And oftentimes these folks who didn't plan earlier for this, they're just looking for a basic burial plan, 10 to 20,000 or so, and this can really help those brand new retirees. Now, if you don't have people in your client files who are retiring, or maybe they're of different ages, this is also a group of people where you can purchase a list of new retirees or people turning 65, likely. If they haven't retired already, they will within the next year or two, and then that's a great conversation starter. We actually have a new resource on our website under Sales Tools called Leads on Demand, and I know you can find a list there already pre-sorted of people that are turning 65 within a 6-month window. That would be perfect if you want to do a mailer to new retirees for this purpose or other purposes as well. And then, of course, there's always the classic people who fail to plan. You know, we've all heard that sentence. Nobody plans to fail. Some people fail to plan. The person who bought let's say they bought a 20-year term when they were 30, they're turning 50, and lo and behold, they're still working. Their 401k has become a 201k, and they need a new 20-year term. Well, that's great. They get it when they're 50. Maybe they pay a little bit more. Well, now they're 70, and they're no longer working, but they realize, you know what, I still need some life insurance, and I can't afford that same amount of coverage at age 70 I could at age 50. And they certainly can't afford a permanent plan a lot of times. So that's where final expense can really come into play. I mean, by all means, sell them the fully underwritten larger face amount plan if they can afford it, but we find a lot of folks just can't. And this is a great fallback position to go to, a final expense policy. And so you want to be looking for the, I guess what I would call the chronic term insurance buyers. They keep buying term and they need more term, and eventually they're priced out of it, and this is something that they can afford. And I really should have added a sixth group of people on here too, and that's really small children. A lot of times grandparents or parents are looking for small policies on children. You know, a final expense policy with a couple carriers would actually fit this niche. It's certainly not the only place to go, but it is a possibility. So getting into the third section here, we've covered what is final expense, who buys it. Now, who offers it? We've actually got 5 of our 20 life carriers that offer a final expense policy. Some of them you can see would work with children here going down to age 0. Others start around age 50, and of course they go clear up to age 85. One difference you'll see there, a few of these carriers actually offer a modified or graded benefit, and then the others offer a level benefit. Level just means the whole death benefit is payable from day 1. If it's graded, that means the client or their heirs will likely get 30 or 40% in year 1, about 70% in year 2, and then the full death benefit year 3. If it's a modified benefit plan, then you're looking at just the premiums paid plus interest for the first 2 years, and those end up being very pricey. Those are what you would sell to the most unhealthy people out there. And I will tell you, if they pay premiums on these for, let's say, roughly 5 or 6 years, they've paid in more than what the death benefit is worth. So the carrier is banking on these people not making it that long, and the people probably know with their conditions that they might not make it that long either. So we certainly try for the level death benefit if we can. We do not have a true guaranteed issue carrier at this point in time. A few other differences among these companies. Surety Life offers the applications on the iGo system. Those are the online applications. You do not need to see the client face-to-face. Works well if they're a long distance away. If the weather is terrible, maybe in January and there's a blizzard outside or ice, just get the client on the phone, open up your computer, and you can take the application that way. That's what a surety does. Foresters offers some extra benefits with membership since they're fraternal. Clients have access to all sorts of extra benefits that Foresters offers. Mutual of Omaha, of course, has a big name, very well known. And then Transamerica, they're interesting. They make no distinction between smokers and non-smokers. As a consequence, they have very low prices for smokers and not so great prices for the non-smokers. But any smokers looking for this, usually you'll see Transamerica priced the best. So I'll open this up to questions right now. And if you have questions, go ahead and type them on the computer, and I'll see them appear here. We'll see if we can answer them. I'll wait just about a minute here or so. And while I'm waiting, I'll put in another plug for a contest that I am running myself this month for agent referrals. If you know of some other folks who would benefit from the ideas on this webinar or working with us just in general here at Financial Brokerage, I'm offering a $100 reward for the producer who refers the most other agents in the month of June. So I have to be folks that are eligible for our referral bonus program. That means they could, by doing business, they could get you $1,000 each one. But the person who refers the most agents, I'm going to give $100 right up front. So I'll be watching for that announcement hopefully later on today. You can still sign up for our webinars today and tomorrow. We have one coming up later today with Genworth Life and with Sarah Stewart and selling to the middle market. And then tomorrow we have Bill Backrack talking about how you can prospect completely from referrals. And I don't see any questions appearing here, so with that we will we'll end the webinar, and want to thank you all for attending, and you have a great day.